heart of a lion, this soul of a titan. You won't break me, you won't break me. This force, you can't fight it. This thunder and lightning. You won't break me, you won't break me.
Welcome back to the arrivals at the end of leg 4, the finish line in Hong Kong. We've already seen Sun Hung Kai Scallywag complete the leg, take the win and the 8 points. But there is a lot to bring you today. We have got many other teams to finish, plus the latest information with Vestas 11th Hour Racing. Let's have a look at the virtual eye right now. If you've been following the race on the tracker, you'll know that Vestas 11th Hour Racing has slowed down. And we do have some information to read. This is the latest information that was given to us. So Vestas 11th Hour Racing, a team competing in this edition of the Volvo Ocean Race, has been involved in a collision with another vessel approximately 30 miles from the finish line of leg 4 in Hong Kong. Race control at the Volvo Ocean Race headquarters was informed of the incident by the team at approximately 17:39 UTC today, Friday, January 19th. All of the crew on Vestas 11th Hour Racing is reported to be safe. There is limited damage to the boat, which the team are still assessing at the moment. The team has not requested outside assistance. There's no information at this time on the condition of the other vessel. Race Control has contacted the Maritime Rescue Coordination Centre to inform them of the incident, and Race Control has also informed the rest of the fleet of the incident. Rest assured, we will bring you more information if it becomes available. For now, what we're going to do is we're going to follow Dongfeng Race Team into the finish. As you can see on the top of your tracker, they are hurtling towards the finish line. They're well inside the entrance, 8.5 knots of boat speed, and with very few meters and miles to go before this boat crosses the finish line. And Conrad, I mean, just before we came on air, we were talking about Dongfeng Race Team, and we were thinking, well, you know, what's the story with Dongfeng Race Team? What can you really pick out? But I think the key thing that we were saying is they had a plan, they stuck to it.
Well, that's right. You know, we don't want to punish the team that's done so well by saying, you know, same old, same old. But it kind of is that simple in the sense that this team, well, they were the first one on the water after the refit. That they haven't been off the podium in any of the 4 legs. They've been heralded as potential favourites to win the overall. Now, with this result here coming into Hong Kong, they're going to looks like they're going to step up onto the 2nd place in the overall standings. You know, they came here to kick ass and they did it.
And there was some key moments in that race where they didn't waver as well, and you know, it's really impressive to see. Obviously, as we can see them now, it looks like going into a jibe into the finish line. There's 1 or 2 more jibes to go if Sun Hung Kai Scallywag's approach to the finish line is anything to go by. But there's a key thing that we've seen with this boat. Frank Camas, previous winner of the Volvo Ocean Race, offshore sailing legend, steps on board. He knows Charles Cordrillia. They sailed together on Groupama, the boat that won in previous editions of the Volvo Ocean Race. But just having someone of that sort of calibre step on board, there's a lot that you can draw from that.
Well, yeah, there is, certainly, but I just don't want to oversell the addition of Frank. You know, this is an incredibly well-developed team. Obviously, Charles Cordrillia sailed in several circuits in France and has been a really high-level competitor for many, many years. He was a crew member on board Groupama when Frank Camas skippered Groupama to a victory in 2011-12. And then of course, you know, you've got so much hardware and world championships and world speed records and so on board this team. Then frankly, how this boat floats, I don't know. But yeah, for sure. So that's the nod to the crew. But certainly having somebody like Frank come on board is really impressive. You know, he's one of the most impressive offshore sailors of his generation. He just kind of came out of the cup, and it's actually interesting to hear exactly what you're talking about. We had the OBR on board, Martin Corazuri. He was saying that as soon as Frank stepped on board, the mood changed on board. Frank has been running around the boat like a hyperactive fly, and he's really made a difference.
He really made an incredible difference. But as you say, a strong foundation there to begin with. And one person that knows a lot about this team from the inside is the boatyard manager, Nick Bice. He is down there on the water at the moment following Dongfeng Race Team. He knows these boats inside out. He sees the highs and lows of the teams as well. And Nick, we're watching Dongfeng Race Team coming into the finish line now, about 1.5 miles to go. Light winds, that last final test, but a team that doesn't seem to put a foot wrong.
No, very. If there's any team on speed, they've actually got a nice coming down here to the finish now. It was a lot lighter just as they entered into the harbour, so to speak, and they've got a nice breeze coming down, probably doing 7 or 8 knots now. I can see young Jack Battelle up the top of the rig to assist those battens when they do a jibe, and they've probably got a couple more jibes to get down to the finish line, but they should be very proud of what they've done here. They're certainly one of the teams that everyone keeps a very close eye on, and certainly one of the teams that actually all the spectators should keep a very close eye on also.
Well, Nick, while we've got you as the boatyard manager, I mean, the big story from the last leg for Dongfeng Race Team was what happened with their keel ram going into that final bit towards the finish line. Obviously, in this leg, no problems, things, back up to speed. Just talk us through how difficult it is for a team to get the boat back together and find that confidence again.
Well, yeah. The action is certainly something I've seen in the race before, and we've seen a lot of camping do a lot. Unfortunately.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to come back to Nick Bice because, as you can well hear there, there's obviously a little bit of technical difficulties. He's following Dongfeng Race Team right now, and when a big yacht with full heavy sails gets in the way of the radio antenna, it does break up the signal a little bit. A bit of a pity there, Conrad, because I was very interested to hear what he was going to say about that keel ram. We know it was a problem. Now, clearly, it's no problem at all. Some hard work there done by the boatyard. I'm sure Nick Bice would have verbally patted the back of everybody that's involved with the boatyard. But right now, Dongfeng Race Team still pushing their way towards the finish line. We've got the big sails up, and that lettering on the side illuminating in the light rig on the camera boat that's following them coming into the river right now. Ahead of them, Sun Hung Kai Scallywag has already taken the win. David Witt, I'm sure, will be being very loud on the shore, celebrating with full gusto, an unbelievable performance to sail around the entire fleet while they were stationary in the doldrums, seeing that shortcut that none of the other skippers were able to even see or indeed take advantage of. David Witt, having laid down the gauntlet, Dongfeng Race Team now coming in for a podium finish, and it's been a pretty good result. We have to acknowledge the fact that Vestas 11th Hour Racing having slowed down after the collision with the vessel. We will bring you more information about that when it becomes available to us. That has, of course, allowed Dongfeng Race Team to approach the line in second place. But throughout this race, Conrad, early on in this race, Dongfeng Race Team showed form coming out of the heads in Melbourne. They were in the lead for a majority of the race, and that seems to be their trait. They seem to be leading always around about the halfway mark of these legs.
Well, that's right, and I'm sure that Charlotte's going to end up with a lot of grey hair as a result of this race, because he has put together an absolutely incredible team, and yet, let's look at their score. It was third, and then a second, and then a second, and then, well, we were expecting them to come in third here, but they're now approaching the line in second place. So every single time on the podium, never on the top spot. And so yeah, for sure, for sure, I sound like Charles. That's what he says all the time. That they're here to do a great job, and they've clearly done that. However, they have not been able to get the top spot, and crucially, not been able to get the winners' bonus points that are always available on leg. And so, even though Mafre are a long way buried in the middle of the fleet at the moment, they're losing points every boat that finishes the race, they still maintain the lead overall.
And being on the podium is something that Charles Cordrelier has said. That's what keeps you in the running for this Volvo Ocean race. And I'm sure when they cross the line for another podium finish, they're going to be very much still aware that the overall is still there. But I believe we have Nick Bice back on the line. Some technical difficulties just broke us up from that conversation before. But Nick, Dongfeng Race Team, you're alongside them now, getting very close to that finish line.
Yeah, not far away now. Probably one more jibe in and they'll be across this line in very well-respected second place. And as Conrad has been saying, not off of the podium in this edition so far and extremely consistent. And that's what generally wins you yachting regattas, being consistent. So I'm sure they are going to be a force to be reckoned with if they continue this going into the second half of the race, as you would say.
And from your view at the moment alongside them, Nick, we're seeing images right now of most of the crew, up on deck. That seems to be a pattern as they're coming across the line, everybody up there to sort of join in that celebration.
Yeah, you can certainly see the smiles on their face also. It must have been quite frustrating in here at 20 to 20.
Oh, well, there we go. They jibe. The sails get in the way and the radio is broken up, the link between the camera boat and the shore. However, we do still have images. These are the nighttime cameras on the back of Dongfeng Race Team at the moment. We're watching live images of Dongfeng Race Team coming into the finish line to conclude leg 4 of the Volvo Ocean race. Key things to take away from this: the Chinese-French team have been finishing on the podium every single leg. But as Conrad was saying, they haven't yet had that bonus point for a leg win. But this leg, Dongfeng Race Team have basically not allowed Mafre, the Spanish team, with them finishing towards the front, with Mafre finishing towards the back, or at least that's how it's likely to play out. They've not allowed the Spanish boat to really run away with the overall leaderboard at this point. And that was a real scare.
Well, no, exactly. And actually, I'm going to use that as a metaphor for the rest of the race, because when we spoke with Frank Camas, navigator on board, they were leading up past the Solomons. They had been leading through the Coral Sea. And he said that going into the doldrums, he did not want to be leading the race. He wanted to keep everything tight. He wanted to keep his friends close and his enemies closer. And that's absolutely the case of what's coming up in the rest of the race, is the fact that you need to stay really tight.
Well, now they are very tight to the line. The left-hand side of your picture has got the flashing light. That is the left-hand side of the line. The right-hand side of the line, out of view. Dongfeng Race Team now coming through the finish line. Wait for the celebrations. Charles Cordrelier checks underneath the boom to see when it is that they will cross that finish line. It's going to be a second place finish, yet another podium finish for the Chinese team. Dongfeng Race Team sailing into Hong Kong, concluding leg 4. Another fantastic finish for Charles Cordrelier and his crew on board Dongfeng Race Team. Oh, Nick, you're down there on the water right now. Muted celebrations, it looked like from here.
Yeah, I was expecting a bit more of a celebration, to tell you the truth, but I'm not entirely sure they realised when they went through the finish line. They're just furling up that great big Code Zero sail now, and I'm sure there'll be a nice pat on the back for Charles and his team, who've done extremely well. They were certainly one of the fastest boats out on the water, and certainly one of the teams that everyone's going to keep an eye on. Here we go, there's a couple of handshakes and a few hugs in the cockpit now. They're certainly not showing it though, but there's going to be some pretty proud people as part of this team.
Some very proud sailors indeed, and one thing that you can't escape from at the moment is they're finishing in second place. But that was the position that Vestas 11th Hour Racing were in. If you've just joined us and you're wondering what is the latest situation with Vestas 11th Hour Racing, all we can tell you at the moment, all that we're aware of here in the studio, is that earlier on, race control at the Volvo Ocean Race headquarters was informed of an incident. We know that they've collided with another vessel. All the crew are reported to be safe. on Vestas 11th Hour Racing, and we are waiting for more information. We will pass it on to you when it becomes available. So Dongfeng Race Team now come across the line in second place. Frank Kamas on the right-hand side with the red head torch on, and we've got a Hong Kong team with Sun Hung Kai Scallywag taking first, and now a Chinese team taking second.
Well, let's not forget that Dongfeng in Chinese means east wind, and that's exactly what we're talking about here. It's the two Asian teams leading into the first of the Asian stopovers on this trip around the world, and it's really impressive. Maybe Niall, tell me what we think. This could represent a little bit of the shift in the centre of gravity in ocean racing, huh?
It's interesting you say that, because one of the things that Dongfeng Race Team are doing, and indeed Sun Hung Kai Scallywag as well, is they're not just wearing the nationality that they're representing just on their back, they're also taking it to heart as well. We have got 3 Chinese sailors within the rotation of Dongfeng Race Team, one of them being on board at this leg at the moment, Chen Jinghao, I believe, for this leg. And Dongfeng Race Team at the moment now across the line, and we are just waiting for confirmation that we're going to get Charles Cordrelia on the line, and we're going to be able to hear from him in just a moment with some of the reactions on board from the crew. It's been quite an incredible leg. Charles, if you can hear me here in race headquarters, fantastic, well done on a great performance of this leg, and welcome to Hong Kong.
To have finished, it was a tough leg, even if it was a warmer than the previous one. And, you know what?
We're just going to come back to Charles, because as you can see, the gremlins that were plaguing us when we were trying to get Nick Bice just a moment ago, obviously still there with the Volvo Ocean 65 Dongfeng Race Team just blocking the way with the carbon sails and the boat and everything. We are repositioning the aerial in just a moment now while we're with us, and then we're going to be able to hear what Charles Cordrelia has got to say. And I mean, I'm guessing, Conrad, that ultimately, in terms of the performance, I mean, we know that there's been a lot of drama in the last little bit, but in terms of the performance of the Chinese team, there's not an awful lot to change. They had a game plan, they followed it, it worked out well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say that you couldn't really have scripted this better. You know, you had the upset by Sun Hung Kai, plenty of whoopsies along the way, but they got the lead. You know, they ran away with it completely. We've got Mafre back, who are getting close to surrendering their overall lead. You've got Dongfeng, who presented themselves as favourites, finally taken over that role. You know, they had struggled to... It's terrible for us to say that a boat that's been on the podium all the way through has been struggling, but you know, they said that they were here to win, and actually we saw maybe it was just a question of fatigue, but you know, really quite a grumpy Charles Cordrelia in Melbourne, and so it's nice to see smiles on the faces of the crew.
A good relief that their plan is working and everything is falling into place. And I believe now we can hear from Charles Cordrelia. We've got the stern camera at the moment looking in. I've lost Charles Cordrelia in the melee of the boat. Very eager, of course, to be with his crew first and foremost. But Charles, if you can hear me, congratulations and welcome to Hong Kong. A fantastic performance on this leg.
Complicated. It was unfortunately, and to get and
okay, we're going to come back to Charles. But, we know that we want to hear from Charles, and I'm happy to say that Charles is wanting to speak to all the fans as well. Unfortunately, geography, the fact that they're on the other side of the world, and the fact that there is so much activity out in the water right now, not least the Volvo Ocean 65, blocking the aerial. But we're going to try and move those pieces around the board, and we're going to try and bring you the reactions from the crew just as soon as we can. We have got an awful lot more to bring you tonight. We are going to be on air at each beat of the arrivals coming in. We've got plenty more to bring you, and this is the conclusion of an unbelievable leg 4. I mean, it's been incredible. You could not have called the leg winner until at least the last 3 or 4 days, and Dongfeng Race Team, though, always managed to hold on into the mix. Charles Cordrellia, rightly proud of his crew, rightly relieved to be finishing for a podium finish on the finish line in leg 4. We know that Vestas 11th Hour Racing has slowed down. In fact, we now know it was a collision with a vessel, and we will bring you more information about that when it becomes available to us. But Dongfeng Race Team across the line, and Sun Hung Kai Scallywag taking the win with the maximum points. An unbelievable leg 4. We're going to leave you with some of the unbelievable highlights of a brutal and very tough leg.
中国，我们回来了 ，Yeah！ Yeah. Let's go.
That's what I like, and that's why I like competition. I want to be the best, and maybe they think I have been the best for one time.
A big fight against all the opponents, very complicated situation.
Remember, this is a game, it's not a war. Finishing line is very far away.
Not what we want, but this is the Volvo race.
Welcome to the Hong Kong arrivals. Dongfeng Race Team crossed the finish line just a few moments ago. Now safely on the dock, and down there with the team we've got Amy Monkman, our roving reporter, and she is with team manager. And let's hear what they've got to say.
Thanks, Niall. Yes, I'm here with the Dongfeng Race Team manager, Bruno Dubois. Bruno, there's an amazing atmosphere here, and we can see the team arriving behind. Horace seems to have some crowds. They say that consistency is key to winning this race, and it's true that Dongfeng Race Team have been incredibly consistent. Just tell me how happy you are right now that the team have come in second place, and how important it is to keep the consistency.
Yeah, we are for sure very happy. It's a bit sad that it's happening that way with Vestas, and I hope everything is okay for them. It's a question of seamanship for us, so there is no glory for us on that, but I know it's very important to be always on the podium, and we're making more points, and it's important, and we're going to take some time with the crew, because I think after those 2 legs, they're very tired.
And just tell me, how pleased are you? How pleased are you that Dongfeng Race Team are second and Sun Hung Kai Scallywag are first? Obviously, I know you'd rather it was the other way around, but for the offshore sailing in Asia, which is something that you've been working on for an incredibly long time, offshore sailing in Asia, this really just goes to show that, you know, there is potential here to have winning teams in a race such as prestigious as the Volvo Ocean Race.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like we did last time in Sanya. We won the leg to arrive in China, and it's perfect. And having those 2 boats there, it's let's say we cannot get it better. I wish prefer to be first, but we sailed sort of different leg at the beginning, and they took they've been opportunists in the right time. And I think it's, you know, we can not only congratulate them for that.
All right, thank you, Niall. I'm just going to walk through and put the microphone under so you can hear Charles Cordrellia.
Uni 1 is here to come and surprise him. So I really want to talk to him. I want to get his reaction on how he feels about coming into Hong Kong, of course, where he learned to sail here. He is from just outside of Hong Kong. He's on the end of the boat. He's there. I need to grab you. Where are you? Come here, my friend. Yes. Horace, listen. Welcome home. You have your sailing school.
As a surprise, they were so excited. How does it feel? Yes, it's very proud. I'm so surprised. I didn't know so many people waiting in the pontoon to see us arriving, and also this is very exciting to represent the Dongfeng to sell this leg program to the Hong Kong. And also the Hong Kong is quite a special memory for me because I could remember in 2011 I'm here to meet my mentor from Hong Kong, Team Jellic. The Mr. Frank Pong is him to let me have a chance to learn the sailing skill and sailing experience, and also to know how can be a good sailor, professional sailor. That's why I'm here today. And also I want to thank the other 6 competitors. It's him to give us the pressure to let us improve every day. And I want to thank my crew. And we have a very nice memory for this leg. For sure, this leg is very, very difficult for us, for everyone. It's a very, very hardest one. Then you can't imagine. And also, I think lots of sailors have the skin problem, and also the equator, the doldrum is no wind. I think it's a big chance for all the team, the navigator. And we didn't win this leg, but I believe next one we do better. And the end, congratulations the Scalyway win this leg, and hopefully they keep going good and do better at the end. Yeah, huh? Sorry? In my language again? No. Hey, sorry. In a language? To repeat the same question, OK. 非常非常的激动，能够代表中国、代表东风参与到这个第4赛段，能够回到这个中国的香港。香港这地方也是对我来说有特殊的意义。那么记得在这个2011年的时候，一次在这里遇到了我的恩师，来自香港自立队的庞辉庞先生，是他让我有机会能够学习更多的专业的航海知识跟技术，也是他让我学会了自立自强，以及这个谦虚向学的态度，也让我懂得怎么样如何成为一个更好的专业的职业的航海赛手。那么如果没有他，今天的我也不会有机会以及有能力站在这么高的舞台，然后来参加这个世界上最艰苦以及历史最长的沃沃环球帆船赛。那么也想感谢其他6支的竞赛队伍，那么在这赛段里面给我们不同的压力，使我们不断的成长，让我们当然不得不承认这个赛段对我们所有人来说是非常非常的艰难的。首先它是一个这个热到让无法想象的赛段，相信很多的水手都有那种得各种皮肤的问题，然后在这个赤道以及前面的无风带，也是对所有的导航员来说也是很大的挑战，能够去做一个好的决定，对策略的决定。然后最后我想感谢我的船上的所有的水手，我们有一个很难忘的这一段经历。然后我希望他们能够享受接下来的香港的日子。然后最后想感谢2个人，来自这个2个 thanks. I want to also thanks the friend and the Justin to join us in this leg, and they're also very very good and the professional sailor. I'm learned so a lot from them, and hope everyone can enjoy the leg Hong Kong.
I'm sure they absolutely will enjoy the Hong Kong stop over here. Thank you very much, and congratulations. Congratulations to Dongfeng Race Team. Well done, Charles, and to all the team. Enjoy your croissants. We're going to see you up on the arrival stage for the prize giving for second place in leg 4. We're going to hand over to the media now to give them a few minutes before we head up onto the stage. Oh, before Caroline. That's very good. Well done. I'll let you have your time with Kyle. We're going to be up on the stage very, very soon. Moi, je t'en ai renvoyé un, mais t'as pas répondu, t'as réservé.
Kyle to do it now with Caroline. Can we get a Charles interview with Kyle and Caroline? Yeah. Shall we have that? Yeah. Just Charles, yeah? Charles or Child? No, Charles. Charles. Okay, perfect. Amy can do it if you want.
So Charles, congratulations. Welcome to Hong Kong. It's amazing to see you guys arrive in here. Now, a Hong Kong team on the podium, the top of the podium, but a Chinese team coming in second. It's amazing for Asian sailing, right?
Yes, it's a very good news. I think it's very important for the Asian sailing, so I'm very happy about these results. Of course, we want to arrive first here. When we arrived first in Sanya, it was amazing for our sponsor. But it's a good place for the general overall, and it's a good news for us. And we are coming back on Mapfre, taking point. So I think it's a very good leg because, as you have seen, this leg was quite complicated. And even if we have sailed very well, I think, but you were never in the doll room. They were really a nightmare. The doll room is a space where with no wind and you don't know what's going to happen. And Scallywag was last catch 1 or 2 cloud and takes the lead like that, and so you are always afraid that you stay on the back with the cloud. So I think it's good. It was a very dangerous leg for the overall.
Now I've got one last question. So Frank Hamas, of course, you sailed with him before, very famously the winner of the Volvo Ocean race, but you are now skipper of this team, and he is now your navigator for that leg because, of course, Pascal wasn't able to sail. Now, how was that dynamic on board? Because obviously it must change slightly sailing with somebody who used to be your skipper, right?
Well, that's not the skipper. Is the person which Frank is, of course. And he's a very good sailor. It's very dynamic. No, but it was very positive, I think, because he arrived, he didn't know the boat. He has a lot of new ideas usually, and I think it was very rich for us, and he did a good job on the navigation. As you have seen, we were leading the race before the doll room, so no, it was quite nice, and I think very good. And I realized also that we are all exhausted. We didn't never stop, and I think at the end it was good to have fresh people. Like we also have Justine on board to replace Marie. She did an amazing job. She was full of energy, motivate, and we can feel that the people who have done all the leg are already tired, and so it's good to have fresh people. And what is good is now Pascal is coming back and he's fresh, so and the result is good. So of course when Pascal was injured, I was a bit worried because it's a key person on board, and you always have a bad result because of that. And Frank did a good job, and now Pascal is coming back and he has a good break, so it will be important, I think, for the next legs.
I'm sure you've missed your boat wife, but he'll be back on board very soon. Thank you very much, Charles. Congratulations to everybody on Dongfeng Race team. I'm going to hand over to the media now, and we are going to be up on the main stage to do the prize giving in the next few minutes, so get yourself over there.
So Charles Cordrelia, and just talking about Frank Hamas, the replacement for Pascal Bigadry. Conrad, interesting to hear him say Pascal back on for the next leg. And when you think about someone as powerful and as strong at the navigational skills as Pascal Bigadry, where on earth are we going to find a replacement? Frank Hamas, I mean, that's a pretty strong, either way you play it, you've got 2 hot players there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just goes to show the depth of talent that there is in Brittany. I live there, but it's more just to say that all of my neighbours are sort of these world-class sailors, like Frank. He lives just down the road. Pascal, not so far away either. And you know, it means that everybody is in a really small, small environment. Everybody knows each other, And if it comes time to go looking for a world-class sailor, you know, you don't have that far to go.
I think that's beautifully put. You do not have too far to go. And Dongfeng Racing right now seems to be hogging all the top sailors that they can find, certainly in French offshore sailing scenes. That is Dongfeng Race Team across the line. Sun Hung Kai Scallywag winning the leg a little while before. Vestas 11th Hour Racing, if there's more information that we can bring you, we will do that. We still have plenty of boats still to finish. We are going to be continuing to go live over the next 10, 12 hours, however long it takes, to bring you the arrivals. I'm going to leave you now with incredible scenes as Dongfeng Race Team pushed unbelievably hard in leg 4. A real test for all the teams, and Sun Hung Kai Scallywag became victorious. However, all the teams a lot to pull away from an unbelievable leg 4.
中国，我们回来了 ，Yeah！
Yeah. Let's go.
That's what I like, and that's why I like competition. I want to be the best, and maybe they think I have been the best for one time.
A big fight against all the opponents, very complicated situation.
Remember, this is a game, it's not a war. Finishing line is very far away.
Not what we want, but this is the Volvo race.